Minecraft Console Edition, the edition that some consider to be legendary, but one of the main later additions to the console edition were the minigames. What's up clickers, I'm Click Greatness. Today, we are talking about the Legacy Console Edition minigames, what happened to them, what were they, and why didn't they come to Bedrock, alongside what made them so special. Let's get into it. Now, the first minigame in the console edition was called the Battle Minigame. This was a flip on survival games, being very fast-paced with small maps, having 8 players, in a later update allowing 16 players to compete. If you had Xbox Live on Xbox, you could easily join and create these games anytime. At the time, servers did not exist on the console edition, and this is the closest we were getting to Java edition servers. You could change the loot pool, round length, competitive mode or not, which added competitive features, lives per round, the amount of players, hunger, health, and more customization options. This battle minigame was released on June 21st, 2016 to a dying edition of the console edition. It revived this edition of Minecraft. When creating your own game, while there were only 3 maps that were free, there were also 8 different map packs which you could buy for a small price, or a season pass which granted you quite a few maps which you could have access to while creating a game. But keep in mind, most players did not need these extra map packs, as only the host was required to have them to play on the map itself. Because the battle minigame was a huge hit, in August 31st, 2016, they released the second minigame, Tumble. Tumble was a spin on the oldest Minecraft minigame, Spleef. With all players spawning on a platform, the goal with either shovels or snowballs was to destroy the platform you're standing on, forcing the other players to tumble to the ground in the lava and to be the last man standing. Having a maximum of 8 players, this custom game mode also allowed the host to select the amount of layers, as well as the use of firework rockets and levitation potions to use for your advantage. There were also things such as TNT, slime blocks, tall grass, and more obstacles scattered around the map to make the game more interesting. Unlike the battle mode, Tumble did not get map DLC, however there were free maps during things such as Halloween, anniversary events, and Christmas. And then on March 29th, 2017, the final minigame of the console edition trilogy of minigames was released, the Glide minigame. The maps were beautiful, and there were 3 modes: a solo mode, where you just fly through the track trying to beat your best time; a time attack mode, where it's multiplayer and each player tries to compete with each other in a race to see who can complete the map first; and then a score attack, where there's rings in the map and you gotta fly through the colored rings to earn points against other players. The makers of the minigame, 4J Studios, had really outdone themselves with this one. There were 3 purchasable map DLC packs, and because at this time fireworks were not used to boost elytras, you had to fly through things such as speed boosts. There were checkpoints, and banging into the wall would cause you to die, making you reset at the previous checkpoint you had reached. This was the most skillful game out of the trilogy, and people considered this one to be the best. There were leaderboards and stuff, but they could be cheesed because many people used glitches to get on the leaderboards. These minigames were exclusive to the console edition, officially made by 4J Studios, and you could join one anytime, anywhere. There was no chat and stuff, so safety concerns were not a problem. They were extremely polished, as well as highly optimized and intended for controller play. Quality of life features such as auto-wearing armor you run over, and taking everything in a chest with a single click of a button were welcome additions indeed. On the YouTube side, while Hypixel did reign supreme, this was a revival for many other console edition YouTubers, such as SB737, Big B Stats, Echo Soldier, Stampy Longhead, and IBX Toy Cat. While I do wish 4J hosted events which people could compete in for real life money, they did play with YouTubers and interact with the community a lot, so that's something. It's almost as though console edition got servers, but the best goddamn servers of all time. You press one button and boom, you're in a lobby which looked so simple, yet had so many Easter eggs and secrets to explore. You weren't constantly being bombarded with microtransactions. Yes, there were map packs and stuff which you could buy, but you weren't constantly being bombarded in the chat such as, oh, go buy VIP rank for a better experience. No, 4J was focused on player satisfaction. At Minecon 2016, some YouTubers leaked the fact that there was a building minigame in the works for the Legacy Console Edition minigame lineup.
Wouldn't it be really cool if you added some sort of like building minigame into the console versions?
A building time in the console version. Now that is a good idea.
However, 4J failed to continue on with their roadmap of adding more minigames. And despite the lack of a player chat, the console edition minigames had such a tightly knitted community, and everyone got super hyped when a new map was announced and stuff. Everyone was talking about it. Like nowadays on a Bedrock server, yeah, if a notable figure makes a video on a new map, maybe like 100k views maximum. For these console edition minigames, we got like millions of views. Everyone was so hyped about these minigames. Hackers weren't really an issue at all. It was nicely optimized for both casual and competitive play, and since everyone's input device was a controller, of course it was very fair. And at the time, if you play casual, it's gonna be casual. Like, you're not gonna find a bunch of sweaty tryhards. You can be a 6-year-old kid, pick up the game, and just play and have a nice time, and actually have a shot at winning. Like, it was fun at the time. This was before everyone started being sweaty tryhards. And because these minigames were developed by 4J Studios, a first-party Mojang studio, they had a super high budget, so they could have servers all around the world, causing no lag, you know. Nowadays on a Bedrock server, yeah, they're an official partner, but at the same time, they have to make money, so they rely on microtransactions. That's the segue to the next part of this video. Why didn't these minigames come to Bedrock? Now, some of the obvious reasons are like, yeah, it would cost a lot of money, and then Elytra mechanics work differently, like the camera's not the same, and since on Bedrock Edition it's mobile with touch controls controller, with the controller, and PC with keyboard mouse, they would have to cater towards so many different inputs. It just would not be fair unless you start doing platform-based matchmaking, but there wasn't even enough players to do that at the time, and Microsoft's big response to why minigames didn't come over to the Bedrock were, we're adding these featured servers with hundreds of minigames. Why would you want these 3 plain minigames? Now, the problem with this is that at the time, these are Bedrock servers, of course, they're made by third-party developers, so they don't get paid by Microsoft, they just do whatever they want to do, and in exchange, they get the fame of the featured server list. And I think you guys need to understand that making these servers on Bedrock costs a lot of money, so these servers were basically investing, hoping that they would get a lot of players, and to counteract the money they lost, they had to riddle their servers with microtransactions, and it's not pay to win, but it's pay to play. Even in 2021, some of these servers are like, to play Skyblock, you gotta buy the Skyblock pass for $4.99, just like, no. But they needed the money, the player counts were still like barely cracking the triple digits, and at the time these servers were terrible, like bad games, low quality, bad optimization, lots of lag, a bunch of hackers. It wasn't even close to child friendly. Like, I get it, you could have as many moderators as you want, but that just can't compete to the child friendliness of the console edition servers where there just is no chat. And since they needed to make money, like, come on, most of these people are playing on a tablet, and the freaking VIP rank costs more than the game itself. Like, what the hell? There were like literal scams. It wasn't balanced because everyone plays against everyone. The close community feel was completely gone, and a lot of these servers didn't listen to player feedback, but instead just tried to get as much money out of this as possible. The quality of life features are all gone. Like, this was below the bare minimum of expectations, and the craziest part is that Microsoft approved these servers to the featured server list. So people at Microsoft looked at these servers and were like, yup, we want to advertise these third-party servers. This is why a lot of the most successful Bedrock servers came later in the Bedrock lifecycle instead of at launch. So the difference between the 4J minigames and the third-party minigames in one sentence: 4J was focused on player satisfaction. These servers were struggling to remain afloat. Like, I swear to God, I don't blame them because they needed to make money somehow. It just did not go right. And then if they did bring over the legacy console minigames over to Bedrock Edition, not only will it just work differently, like completely differently, and cost a lot of money, but the thing is, these minigames were so high quality, if they brought them over to Bedrock, the Bedrock servers wouldn't be getting players. Like, it would cause way too much competition. Like, the 4J server would have like a couple thousand players, and then Mineplex over here would have like 50. Like, I swear to God, that's how it would have gone. And because they didn't bring them over, now we have servers that are flourishing with tens of thousands of players. So in the long run, I think this was the right choice, but they just shouldn't have released the Pocket Edition and turned it into the Bedrock Edition so soon when everything was still unstable, and it felt more, it didn't even feel like a beta, it felt like a freaking alpha, but it was actually in full release. Now, the last part of this video. What made the 4J minigames so special? Now, I've already answered this in the video kinda, but the quality of life features, the polishedness, the optimization, the community, the communication between 4J and the player base, you just don't see that on servers today. The simplicity of the 4J minigames alongside the first party Mojang feeling vibe, this was what revived the dying console edition, and it really was a shame that these were discontinued in favor of the Bedrock edition. Yes, right now Bedrock servers are pretty good. They are innovating quite quick, and on there you have things such as YouTube rank and stuff which you can get, so you can actually make a difference in the community. However, the console edition servers, they just had a different vibe entirely. Like, people were there to have fun. Right now on the Bedrock servers, people are here to sweat it out, get a win streak, film a cool YouTube video, get some clips, get some wins. Now, I get it, Bedrock servers, some people do go there just to have a casual fun game, but it's not as much as the people on the console edition. On the console edition, you were grateful for what you had. You were grateful that there was a first party server official by 4J and that console edition vibe that you can't get from any server, whether on Bedrock or Java. And because of this vibe, even today, halfway through 2021, in peak hours, if you try and find a minigame lobby on the console edition, you will find a full game of like 14-16 people. It's kind of insane. People are still playing, still on that grind, still having fun. To me, these console edition minigames is the bridge between the past, that was the golden age, and a futuristic, innovative future. But there is one extremely bad thing that came out of these minigames. It caused people to stop making adventure maps and making their own minigames, because before minigames existed, map creators, they were making their own maps, they were making their own adventure maps, they were making their own minigames that people could download and play for themselves. Now, once the minigames were released, those people will put out a business, and then they just couldn't compete with the sheer quality of the 4J minigames. So in an attempt to unify the player base with the minigames, they actually made it worse for some people. And while I don't think that was a mistake, I do think Microsoft valued that as an important lesson to note, because they did not bring these to the Bedrock edition, and I think the actual reason they didn't do that is that if they did do that, you won't see new servers popping up. You won't see people trying to make their own Bedrock edition servers to a wider player base, because Microsoft would have already captured all the attention of the Bedrock players with their own featured first-party server. And because of this is why these third-party servers are now able to innovate and put in their full creativity and heart and soul into their minigames if they wish. These minigames also did have unlockable achievements, which didn't give you anything but a sense of reward. Oh, I almost forgot. The best part of these minigames, they have their own damn soundtrack. 4J and whoever composed and wrote and orchestrated these music pieces are incredibly talented. I want to see these on Minecraft servers. It will give servers a feature of their own identity, if it's even possible. Getting a team of composers and people to orchestrate music, still capturing that Minecrafty vibe, but having their own original soundtracks will be amazing. Like, instead of playing survival games and having normal Minecraft music playing, have some intense Minecrafty battle music going on in the background. That would be amazing if that's possible. And in the game Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the glide minigame music alongside some other Minecraft pieces of music did make it into the game. So if you want to remember the Legacy Console Edition music, go play Smash Bros. Minecraft music. But guys, thank you for watching this dragged out commentary video about the Minecraft Legacy Edition minigames. Leave a like if you want, subscribe if you want to see more of this content, hit that bell if you want to be notified for this content, and leave a comment down below, please. It gives me traction. Tell me what you want to see in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. This is Click Greatness, clicking off.